The devil we know, horns, hooves, and that goatee. You know the guy, red skin, pointy tail, maybe a pitchfork. But the real giveaway? The horns. Satan, Lucifer, the Prince of Darkness. However you say it, he's usually got a goat theme going on. Why a goat? Seems random, right? Like, why not a skunk or a bad-tempered badger? Turns out this image is old. Older than indoor plumbing. We're talking centuries of artists, storytellers, and even regular folks picturing the devil with goat-like features. But to understand why goats got stuck with this job, we gotta dig into some history, myth, and maybe even a little goat pee. Don't worry, I'll make it interesting. I'm not above getting my hands dirty, metaphorically speaking, of course. We're gonna look at why this image sticks around. Is it just that goats look weird, or is there something deeper, something about the way goats act that makes them perfect for the devil's PR team? Let's find out. Ancient evils, where goat demons come from. Way before Twitter, folks explained the world through stories. These stories were passed down through generations, becoming the backbone of cultures and societies. Myths, legends, gods, and monsters, they were how we made sense of things. They provided explanations for the unexplainable and comfort in the face of chaos. And goats? They pop up all over these old tales. They were more than just animals, they were symbols, often representing various aspects of life and nature. Sometimes they're helpful, providing milk and wool. They were essential to daily life, offering sustenance and resources. But just as often, they're linked to the wild, the untamed, the dangerous parts of nature. Their unpredictable behavior made them perfect symbols for the chaotic and the unknown. Ancient Greeks had Pan, a half-goat god of the wild, known for his enthusiasm. Pan embodied the wild, untamed spirit of nature, often causing mischief and mayhem. Egyptians had Khnum, a ram-headed god who could be both creator and destroyer. Khnum's dual nature reflected the balance of life and death, creation and destruction. Even in early Christianity, there were stories of goat-like demons tempting saints out in the desert. These tales highlighted the constant struggle between good and evil. So this goat connection to the spiritual, especially the dark side, it's been brewing for a long time. The goat's duality made it a powerful symbol in various spiritual contexts. These old beliefs didn't just disappear. They got mixed up, passed down, reinterpreted. Each culture added its own twist, creating a rich tapestry of goat-related lore, like a game of telephone, but with demons and deities instead of whispers. Over time, the stories evolved, blending elements from different traditions. So when early Christians were trying to figure out how to show people what evil looked like, they reached back into this big grab bag of images and pulled out a goat. The goat became a convenient symbol for the devil and his minions, or at least parts of one. The horns, the hooves, the wild eyes, all these features combine to create a terrifying image of evil. Scapegoats and sin. Why pick on goats? Goats have always been the animal kingdom's designated weirdos, the oddballs that stand out in a crowd. Sheep are chill, cows are big but mostly harmless, and horses are majestic. Goats? They're the ones chewing on tin cans, climbing on your car, and generally causing a ruckus. They're curious, stubborn, and kinda destructive, always getting into trouble. Sound familiar? Yeah, kinda like how we imagine sin working in our lives, sneaky and persistent. There's also this thing called a scapegoat, an animal that gets symbolically loaded up with a community's sins and then driven away, taking the blame for everyone else. Guess what animal they usually used? Yup, the goat. It was the perfect candidate. This idea pops up in the Bible too, in the Old Testament, where goats were used in rituals to carry away the sins of the people. So even before Satan got his signature look, goats were already associated with taking the blame, with carrying away bad stuff, the embodiment of sin. So you've got this animal that already represents the wild, the untamed, the stuff we're told to avoid, the rebellious spirit. They're already getting blamed for stuff they probably didn't do just because they look the part. And they're all over ancient myths and stories, often hanging out with the wrong crowd, deity-wise, always in the thick of trouble. It's almost like they were asking to be the poster child for temptation and sin, the ultimate scapegoat in every sense. Pissing contest goats, sin, and missing the mark. Okay, time to get real, or maybe just real weird. Goats, those quirky creatures, have some habits that might surprise you. Goats have a habit of, well, peeing on themselves. Yes, you heard that right. Specifically, male goats. Especially when they're trying to attract a mate. It's part of their courtship ritual. It's a whole scent thing, apparently. They believe it makes them more appealing. Now, before you say, Mike, what the heck does goat pee have to do with the devil? Hear me out. There's a strange connection here. Sin, at its core, is about missing the mark. It's about falling short of what we aim for. It's about choosing the wrong thing, going the wrong way, even when you know better. It's like taking a detour when you know the main road is clear. It's like trying to hit a bullseye and hitting your own foot instead. Or aiming for a goal and completely missing it. Or, peeing on yourself to impress a date. Not the best move, right? Not exactly a winning strategy, it's more like a misfire. So you could say that goats, in all their smelly glory, are a pretty good metaphor for how sin works. They often miss the mark, just like us. They're not trying to make bad choices, they're just following their instincts. They're just wired a little differently. Their natural behaviors sometimes lead them astray. And sometimes that wiring leads to some, unfortunate outcomes. They end up in tricky situations, kind of like how our own desires and temptations can lead us down the wrong path, even when we're aiming for something good. We all have our moments of missing the mark.